The school knew nothing about careers. They were a wonderful school, but I was the first one ever to do law, and I knew absolutely nothing about it. You either became a secretary, or if you were very bright, you went into teaching, and if you were terribly, terribly bright, you sat for the civil service. I met my husband at law school, and he got a scholarship to Yale in Connecticut. And so instead of finishing my degree, we got married, and we went out there for a year. And I worked out there doing legal research for a year. We had a wonderful time, and then I came back and qualified. We lived in an area, in a semi-detached house, where there were no solicitors around, and they were all elderly people who just had a house, and maybe all they did was just to sell their house and to have their will. And I put a plate up on the door. That's how it all started. And it snowballed because the bank, I acted for 2 branches of a bank, and they sent me all their work. But it was very dull work. It was nothing but conveyancing probate. I did work, but I didn't have to leave home, so I couldn't do anything more exciting than that. But it was a money spinner, but it was very lonely. I was in practice 25 years. But it slightly changed because in 1975, I got a letter one day asking if I'd act as a chairman of national insurance tribunals. I don't know where that letter came from, but it changed the whole of my direction. And I started doing those once a week. And then, because they liked what I did, I started 2 days a week. I took over the whole of the area from London Airport right up to the city. Yeah, it was amazing. And it got me out of the house, and it was very good because we used to start at 10 and finish at 4, which I could be home for the children and get them to school as well. It was all juggling. Then I became president under the London Building Acts. Then I did part-time employment tribunal. And then one happy day, I got a letter. In those days, you were invited. You didn't apply, you were invited. I was invited to become a commissioner. And that was amazing because I was appointed in November 81, and it wasn't until December 79 that solicitors were entitled even to act as commissioners. It was only barristers. There had never been a woman, and I was the only woman amongst 14 men. They were all QCs and benchers, and I was the only practicing solicitor who had that effort. They were all barristers. So it was a very lucky appointment. A commissioner is now an upper tribunal judge. And what we did was, it was all to do with pensions, unemployment benefit, and that kind of work. We heard law only. Facts were decided by tribunals, and we heard appeals from tribunals. Then it came to us on law only, and from us it went to the Court of Appeal. So we were on a par of a court of first instance. Initially, we were paid more than the circuit judges. We came under the High Court. But by the time I joined, we were on a level of circuit. Times have changed enormously. And one of the questions that's come up, that I get asked so often, is, are things better now than they were? You don't get legal aid, which I feel is hard. A lot of people, they have rights, but they can't exercise them because they haven't got the money for it. When I was in practice, and I know that my husband in the city, it was the same for him, and I've got 2 brothers who are also solicitors. If you had a sad case, you did it for hardly anything. And then perhaps the next chap who had plenty of money, you might bump up a bit. But you couldn't do that now. And the billing is all on a time basis. It's not what the actual job takes you. So I don't think that is better than it was. They do much longer hours, don't they? And I don't think that if you do a double amount of hours, it makes you a better lawyer. It's what you do in that time. It's not the length of time you take over it. Don't know. I wouldn't like to be in practice now.